tell you what to do, how to make me fall for you. You should learn that on your own. I play cool, cause I hope you pick it up soon, and you know just what to do. Don't you? Boy, just be honest. I know you want it. Put some work into it, cause you know that I'm hard to love. It won't be easy, so don't be lazy. Just give it to me, cause you know that I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love. Boy, you know that I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love. Boy, you know that I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love. Boy, you know that I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love. Boy, you know that I'm hard to love. I'm through trying to tell you what to do, how to make me fall for you. You should learn that on your own. I play cool, cause I hope you pick it up soon, and you know just what to do. Don't you? Boy, just be honest. I know you want it. Put some work into it, cause you know that I'm hard to love. It won't be easy, so don't be lazy. Just give it to me, cause you know that I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love. Boy, you know that I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love. Boy, you know that I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love. Boy, you know that I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love. Boy, you know that I'm hard to love. I'm hard to love. Want it easy, want it badly, but I can get what I want. Too much pressure, too much pleasure, but not much to rely on. Your love ain't free, it's killing me. I want it to end all, cause I've been trying, I've been waiting for so long. I'm waiting, 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 waiting. Waiting, 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 waiting. It's hard to do and it hurts to say, but if you love something, let it go. Tomorrow comes, it's another day. So if you love something, let it go. If you love something, let it go. If you love something, let it go. It's hard to do and it hurts to say, but if you love something, let it go. Tomorrow comes, it's another day. So if you love something, let it go. No, 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 I don't mind you asking why I let it go. It's just way too much for my heartbeat, so I'm laying low. Yes, I could rethink what I'm thinking if I had control, but I don't, so don't you be asking why I love you so. Your love ain't free, it's killing me. I want it to end all, cause I've been trying, I've been waiting for so long. I'm waiting, 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 waiting. Waiting, 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 waiting. It's hard to do and it hurts to say, but if you love something, let it go. Tomorrow comes, it's another day. So if you love something, let it go. I try to fix it. I try to picture someone else but you. But then you kissed me, and now there's nothing else I wanna do. For the record, I never thought it would be you and me. You said tomorrow, let's see what happens, but it's plain to see. And tonight we're like fire and ice. I'm burning all over, and we're starting a riot tonight. Don't want this to be over. Any second we're all burned down. If we stay here, we'll probably drown.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to ULTI.TV's coverage of Vienna Spring Break 2023. Delighted to be in maybe the jewel of Central Europe's crown and bringing you some hopefully sparkling ultimate here today from the Austrian capital. Benjamin Rees in the booth for the first time this season. I know I've missed you all terribly as well, but there's nowhere I'd rather be than here, pitchside in Vienna, and joined by the one and only Stef Pazzo.
Benj, I was going to give you that glorious introduction myself. We've been missing Benji, his wonderful articulations, his fantastic research, his preparedness as always, and he is back to give that all to your ear holes while these wonderful athletes entertain your eye sockets.
We're starting in the Open division this weekend. We're going to alternate between Open and Women's action today, and we've got one team that we've seen already this season in Panthers from Wrocław, Poland, who are out at the Elite Invite in Padova, but it's a first appearance on the European stage this year for FrankN of Germany. You were talking a little bit before the game with Kasper Podgaini of Panthers Wrocław, because they had a tournament of two halves, I'll call it.
Yeah, they claim to run out of gas in Padova there. They like the way they started. They got wins early, and their legs were not behind them throughout the whole tournament. A tight game. We all remember the Panthers versus Panthers game, Bern versus Wrocław. And from that stage on, there was a close loss for these Panthers we see in front of us now. And that kind of turned the tides against them there. That's when they started running out of steam, Benji. So here, they want to win. They got their eye on the big prize of EUCF this season. But of course, before that, they've got the Polish National Championship, and they want to win that back. That title they gave up, and it's That's their first goal. But it starts here. They said this is where they're going to cut their teeth, and they want to come out winning both this game, and they believe they can do it for the tournament.
Yeah, if it's the same Panthers we got on Saturday of Elite Invite, they could well do it. If it's the Panthers we saw on Sunday, then who knows? We're going to start, though, with FrankN in the white on offense. Shirk. Those burgundy tights and the Tokai cleats. He's going to put one deep on a high stall count. He's got someone behind the defense, and they're catching it for the score as well. In terms of a high stall punt, it's pretty effective.
Effective, and the high stall punt, I liked it. In fact, that coming out of that 14 shirt there, Shock had some defenders exceptionally shocked with his fakes. He was really moving the mark around, despite the fact that he didn't get any open looks to look at until the very end. Why not stick it? If you got the receivers that can haul that in, let's take them in. And surely not the way they wanted to open up the scoring, but they'll take that, Benji.
Yeah, if they're keeping a little notepad with all the stats, that'll go down as a clean hold. And again, as you mentioned, it's not perhaps getting their offense in the rhythm they wanted, but a score is a score. Here's the ball going towards the far sideline, and it's going to land in the pitch behind us.
And everybody will notice there's a game on that field next door. Not much room. They want a couple showcase. You know, they want 2 fields to be playing on this showcase stadium pitch. A wonderful luxury, beautiful stadium here. The only downfall is that they do have to put those sidelines right next to each other. So some of the out-of-bounds players will take a second to get in.
But we are in now with the Panthers of Wrocław. Here's the lefty of the Dobronovsky brothers, Philip. Looks like a zone from Franken. We saw them practicing this in the warm-up, and we'll see how Panthers are able to deal with it. Prioritising the quick disc movement at the moment. Cheeky little hammer over the top there from Philip Dobronovsky. And I think that one was stripped, just went to kind of wind up to release it, and Jakob Kerner just got a little bit too overeager there. Back in play now, though. Trying to piece apart the teeth of the front line of that zone. Not seeing it, though, so the hammer over the top, providing a nice option. Dobronovsky slicing it through the front line there. His brother Łukasz also doing a lot of handling work at the back, at number 12. Already within the red zone now again, and they've not really made any passes more than a few meters, but they don't need to because they can just keep slicing and dicing their way down the field. And then a lovely inside break, that low release backhand finds the target, and Panthers ties up at ones.
Well, haven't we seen a tale of 2 different offenses in 2 different possessions? A 1 throw score on a high stall count, and a 15 throws all 1 to 3 meters at a time, irking their way through the zone. I like a zone early. Why not test what the offense is going to do against you? It can be said, though, like I've said it once, I'll say it a million times. I like a zone when you have that 8th defender, Benji, when there is an element of the weather that's working against the offense as well. And as much as that is in the forecast for this weekend, right now, not a stitch of wind. The field may be a little bit damp from days before, but it's dry this morning thus far. It is. These are ideal conditions, so the zone's going to need a little bit of extra help.
You might want it a tick or 2 warmer, but otherwise, yeah, you can't really ask for better conditions than this. Although, as you say, the forecast for the rest of the weekend is dicey at best.
Grim, Benj. Here comes Frank.
Brockmeyer. Faking the big option. He's not got a tight mark. And I think the sideline there was rapidly trying to make sure that the big shot didn't go up. This time it is going to go, though. Absolutely uncorked deep. It's going to require some chase down. And I think at the very end there, Venkelman just got offline slightly.
Yeah, took the wrong train there. They called for the other rail. He turned left, and the disc trailed right. I mean, throw not perfect, but I think the read just pittered off there. Should have probably been able to pick the right shoulder and stay on course there.
Schlager asked a lot of his receiver there, but Winkelmann didn't necessarily do himself any favours. The game's first turnover. What can Panthers do with it? Schaldurner. At the moment, it's all in the backfield, struggling to generate any separation downfield. Nice switch passed off there by the FrankN defence. Just trying to be a bit more efficient with some of those movements. Now they find a little slashing cut across the field, going towards this sideline. Can they get it off into a more central position? Nice inside break, deciding to leave nothing up to chance there is Kamil Olszewski, now on the near sideline. Paris putting it deep, got the air underneath it. Can he get it? Brilliant box out at the back of the end zone from Kasper Podgaini, and that's the first break of the game. Wrocław taking the lead, Panthers 2, Franken 1.
Great break by the Panthers there. I mean, beautiful movement to start the possession and to finish a huck. As Benji, you mentioned, that box out, he was beaten for size. The number 16 shirt of the German, Peter Brockmeyer, looked like he was in position to make that play. Was between the player and the aerial disc, and just allowed the very crafty Podgaini to really back him off and get separation when the disc had gone lower than the reach of the German defender. So great job, break on the board for the Panthers, and a lovely way to do it on an aired deep shot. So the Germans are not afraid to huck. It certainly makes it that much easier to do when you show a bit of success on the first time of asking. The second time, they've now seen the consequences that may come of it. Let's see how they adjust their offense on this next reception coming up, Benj.
So here's the pull from the Panthers. Just going to get everyone downfield before fielding. Shirk goes underneath. Michael Schlager. That's a low, flat one through the center of the pitch. Let's be honest, Calgo should probably have had that. Defender was close, but saw it a bit late and maybe just enough to put him off. Another break opportunity here for the Poles. Trying to operate a side stack downfield, taking them a little bit of time to create some separation. But Krysiak gets it, and now centering. The inside option they wanted, not there. That one, ooh, the awkward Oyo, blading towards the turf, but well saved by Podgaini. Now they're trying to flow themselves downfield. Already comfortably over halfway, getting the reset off there to Olszewski. Schaldurner. High release. Oh, a little bit too high, but it's tipped on. And thankfully, Gauga making amends by slapping the sloppy seconds out of the side of the pitch.
Thankfully for who? Yeah, catch your D's is the easy response to that one. I do like the spiking Viking D there. Gets it out, but did offer a second chance for retention. But we have a break opportunity for Frank. I'd say this is a second chance to hold.
Second chance to hold indeed. That's the first turnover of the game from Panthers. Uncorking the big lefty deep shot. Can he chase it down just over the head of Gooden? And he couldn't quite get his body set for it.
He gives the earth a little thump there, not happy with his inability to haul that one in. And now is the break chance, the second break chance for Panthers on our first multi-turn point of the game.
Podgaini plants before coming under, looking for the continuation with the force off balance into the center for Krysiak. Slightly shorter roster for the Poles, only 15 of them this weekend. Faking the backhand. as Oshetsky works his way free towards that open side, towards the far side, the centre of this stadium pitch. And now the deep shot down the sideline. The blade well weighted into the hands of Krysiak. Another Polish break. They're taking charge of this game 3-1.
As they mentioned off the top, this is a tournament they want to take. And if they're going to have any chance of taking the tournament, they got to start strong, come out with a win here. And they are coming out in full force, Benji. Taking the breaks, even on second and third askings for it. They're getting Ds. They have now shown one turnover that we saw in that last point. I thought they were just a foot too high. If that's the way their turnovers are coming right now, I think they can probably deal with that. That's something they can rein in, tidy up their throws, kind of put that away and see how they progress.
So the format for the Open Division is 4 pools of 4, so 16 teams overall. Both of these teams are in Pool C, alongside the Big Easy and LOL, which is the game actually on the other stadium field in the distance. Just waiting for this next pool to come down. The bucket hat of Paris. I think it's just going to take the wrong edge, and it is going to sail onto that far field. So a brick here for Franken. Looking like a traditional vertical set down the center of the field. Making sure they're getting a decent amount of spacing, trying to give those players room to work. Plant coming underneath there. Volleber. He finds Kerner, and just a little focus drop there potentially from Michael Schlager. And given the way the Panthers' offense has been humming on the turn, it's not necessarily a position you want to be in, giving them a short field here. Paris. Schaldurner. Back to Paris. The two of them just playing some smooth jazz in the backfield at the moment. Krasutsky. Now a little 1-2 give going. Włodarczyk finds the target of Mateusz Kosmowski. 4-1 now Panthers. They are really motoring here.
4-1 on the scoreboard. We're going to get that fixed up for you in just a second. The Panthers, Frank having trouble just on a reset there. That was a centering pass to Michael Schlager. He kind of just got, the pass came a little hot at him. He had to kind of bring the wrists up to the chin there to try and get a shot at it, and he couldn't hang on. We've got a timeout on the field. We're going to take a little break. A lot to think about for Frank while Panthers try to keep the wheels moving.
Don't go away.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch.
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe, ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our work to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the Ultimate world and beyond.
as you're seeing there. If you want to help grow Ultimate with ULTI.TV, www.ULTI.TV is the way to do that. And, you know, become a patron as well. Throw a little bit of financial muscle behind what we do, whether that be, again, just by becoming a patron, or also by, you know, maybe snagging yourself a bit of that wonderful ULTI.TV swag from our friends at Force.
Get it on you. So I'm told both of those situations, becoming a patron and buying the swag, will make you better looking.
This is empirically true. I have done the research. All I'm saying is, before I became a patron of ULTI.TV, I was desperately single.
Now happily involved.
Cheeky low release there. Might have just got a little tip on the mark. In the center. Venkelman. Pick.
Double bicep flex.
Hello to everyone watching and chatting along in YouTube with us. Good to have you here with us this morning. Reset to Shirk. You can see how sticky the coverage is downfield for the Panthers. High stall, high throw, high catch. Gauger takes off deep, clears out of that space. Reset goes to Richter. Richter back to Wolf. Every cut downfield, they're not really gaining many yards with it. The patience is slow and grinding. They try and huck their way out of it with the deep shot, and then it is ripped down by Jonas Venkelman. That's some way of stopping the slide.
That's exactly it. Venkelman taking it upon himself there, winning the aerial battle. We've seen the taller German receivers get out positioned once or twice now in this game already. And Venkelman said, no, not on my watch. I've got the extra couple inches on my guy. I've got this read, and I'm taking it high. They're back on the board, and that's precisely what they needed. Heck of a grab by number 7, Wankelman.
Obviously, first game at the weekend, so there's a lot we don't know about how the tournament's going to shake out. But potentially, you think Panthers maybe among the favourites?
It is. We were looking, Benj, and I know you're bringing this up because we've had this chat yesterday, and it is a wide open pool here. I mean, I think after Padova, everybody wants to give Fui a bit of favoritism. But as we get here, we notice that Fui and 3SB are both in this tournament. That kind of splits their talents. I think they've gone O-line, D-line style, as we see a lot of top clubs do. With that said, yeah, I mean, Panthers are in this conversation. There's a couple of the old guard that we want to talk about, but
here's the deep shot from Dobranovsky, but that one, oh, didn't catch it, and it very nearly left the back door ajar in the end. Franken get away with it. Not the greatest huck there from Filip Dobranovsky. Didn't quite fade that enough towards his receiver, I think. So maybe the timeout for Franken will have paid dividends. Punched in the O point, now looking to get the first of those 2 breaks back. And that's the first turnover, by the way, for Panthers O-line. It's only the second time they've taken the field. So we'll see Franken's D-line offense for the first time. Just playing it between themselves in the backfield at the moment. Little pop off there. And that one is going to come down with snow on it. And Dobranovsky is going to more than make amends there. Just airmailing that throw.
not the shape he was hoping to see on that throw.
Nijala. High one and under a little bit of a crowd of bodies. The poles come down with it. Dumped off to Kosmowski. Back to Filip Dobranovsky. He wants a little bit more order out of the entropy in the end zone. You can see him though, open that angle, the big pivot around, just gave him that lovely inside channel to furrow through, and he finds Kosmowski for the score, 5-2.
I thought Frank were looking good there to start that break chance until the huck. They looked good in their own end. They were moving it well. One throw a little bit above the shoulders, but was handled well. And the huck was actually on. The receiver had separation. Just the throw didn't get there. It had too much float and gave it straight back. Then the Panthers did their end zone offense set very interesting too. The trailing player, number 12, Dobranovsky, was slow to the party and just stayed in a full retreat position, let the 6 players do the cycling to work the end zone offense, and I mean, that little bit of space seemed to work for them. Less in the box, less defenders in the box, and they cash in another bench. It's 5-2 Panthers, maintaining definitely dictation of this game. It's theirs to lose at this stage unless Frank can pull something off and change their minds.
Yeah, they're very much in the proverbial driving seat. Here's the pool, lower and flatter, fielded off the skim by Frank. Here's another deep shot, this time out of the hands of Brockmeyer, and that one again offline. They haven't really got that deep game firing as they would like, I think, the Germans.
But they haven't erred away from it yet.
Still have faith that they'll find the range. Sosna. A little bit of space for Paris to get the disc. Paris is going to huck. Oh, this is going to come down with snow on it and a maelstrom of bodies underneath. Brilliantly rescued by Kamil Oshetsky, who flows through to Podgaini for the goal. And sometimes just got to let the big man ball, I guess.
Yeah, the deep shots thus far, both ways, not really flying the way they'd like to. Some of them coming down into friendly hands, receivers making plays to make a little bit of pie chucking work. But that one not on. Great play by the 16 shirt of Oshetsky to make it count. But that really was a 50-50 ball. That could have gone either way. And from a coaching perspective, that's probably something you want to tell your guys to put away.
I think it's the sort of throw that you're more accepting of on a D-line than you are on an O-line, where you give your players a little bit more license to shoot, because it's not that you value the disc less, but maybe you back yourself to get it back more. And if you don't, then it's less punishing than being broken.
Spot on, Benji, as per always.
I have my moments, Steph. I do have my moments. I wonder if this deep game is partly being affected by the stadium condition here, where it feels quite flat at ground level, but when you get a little bit higher and the distance is a bit more exposed, there's maybe a little bit more wind up there, and it does alter slightly how you have to throw.
I've definitely been in stadiums where that is the effect. I remember the French championships last season.
Me too.
Were very much that way. Right in the center of the stadium, it seemed easy, calm. But as soon as you pass that 20, the brick marks on either side, that wind was howling.
And you can watch that, by the way, on ULTI.TV's YouTube channel for free. Something a little bit different defensively now from Panthers. I like this. They're not letting FrankN get settled, and they're transitioning into a zone defense here. Looks like 3 up front. They've got someone kind of lurking behind that front 3, and then 3 in the back as well.
I mean, it looks like a 3-3-1 standard, except the front 3 are flat instead of the old standard cup. That center player, the number 9 shirt for the defense, is switching in and out more. Bench, and you just see the flat drop there. That was in and out of his hands. He was looking up at the next receiver before he maintained the catch.
I must admit, FrankN were working their way through that zone fairly nicely until the drop, but that's one of the things that you do look for with zones, is even if you're not necessarily aggressively forcing the turnover, sometimes just by forcing them to make that many passes, You're playing the percentages and eventually trusting that the error will come as another timeout called, this time by Panthers.
Well, let's take a break of our own, Benji, and make sure our viewers know that we'll be back in just a second and have a little bit of a word from our supporters.
Always on the move? You can keep up to date with ULTI.TV on all of our social media channels. Like, follow, subscribe, share us with a friend, or send us a message just to say hey. Thank you for supporting us in our mission to grow Ultimate everywhere.
Those who do not know their history can never relive it. The skies, the dives, the sideline smiles. Our past is held in photo albums, drinking stories. The present is a gift. And here at ULTI.TV, we want to make sure we always appreciate it, capturing the immortal moments of Ultimate from around the world and making sure everyone can enjoy them for free, forever. Because the future belongs to all of us.
Enjoying the show? Show your support for the live stream and the people making the show. Buy a super chat or super sticker on YouTube directly. Select your donation and type your message to the world. And share. All donations go into directly funding new shows. Buy a super sticker or super chat now. Thank you.
Welcome back to ULTI.TV's coverage of Vienna Spring Break 2023. You're seeing there more info how you can get involved, how you can find us on all the socials. I've been given control of the Instagram this weekend, which might be a bad idea. By the way, don't use your phone in the cinema, despite what Dom's advert told you. Extremely poor form. That one, a little leading pass, and I think Paris just never really got his hand set for it. The curse of the turnout strikes the Panthers. Shook. Trying a lead pass of his own. Nice footwork there from Mikael Schlager to keep himself in bounds. Looking for another lead pass. And just got it out early enough. But not in the end zone just yet. And trying to cut it all the way across. The disc lands short. For Paris, no time like the present to pick that disc up and get going again. Playing it around in the backfield at the moment, just trying to let their downfield players maybe get set, get an idea of what specifically they want to be doing. Break there to Schaldona. Going low, going to ground by keeping it up is Krasutsky. Little dish from the floor by Krishak. Already beyond halfway. Now they're stagnating a little bit. Gonna have to look to the reset. Schaldona around, brilliant layout bid underneath to get the disc back there from Yanis Gauga.
Great cleanup job there. Frank, they were desperate for that. It moved it all the way to the end zone just prior and squandered a fantastic opportunity, but the defensive effort gets it right back for him, Benji, on a spectacular individual play there.
Yeah, they were just waiting for the field behind to just move slightly downfield before bringing that disc back into play. The first pass is a swing into the center to Mikael Schlager. Fowler downfield for Gauga, who got the disc back with that layout block. Hopefully that can be an energizer if you're a FrankN fan. Low, wide, into the center. Again, for FrankN, it's quite a piecemeal offense. Still count rising, reset back. Shirk looking to continue it wide, but again, just lacking the connection. Panthers, to their credit, they're forcing a lot of passes.
They're forcing them. It's making the throws come in all sorts of ways. That should have been flatter, the blade on it, but it also should have been caught. A tricky catch, but should have been there.
Just lost sight of it for a second there, did the defender Mikael Schlager. And Krishak resets. That one picked off back for Franken. This point's got a little bit messy now. Underneath, tight to this sideline is Shirk. Downfield, first point of contact, inbounds, nice little slide from Sosna. Picks himself up, gets back on the mark. Franken gets slightly away, off from the line. Ripping one across field there for Venkelman. Venkelman, oh, you can see the blade on that one. Greedily gobbled up there by Krasutski.
And a wonderful breakthrough to kick off that point by Shock. And then the follow-up throw just had nowhere near enough on it. Fell short, and another possession for Panthers.
Cheeky leading break there for that handler, slashing through. Reset to Sosna. Just good body position, but the disc is a little bit behind Krasutski, who reached out, couldn't get there. Shock, gonna put it deep. And that's gonna work. If you can't get your offense in rhythm, just grip it and rip it.
Grip it and rip it, find a way. It's really the only way we've seen any semblance of consistency from Franken right now is being able to connect on a couple of deep shots. They've got to, and credit that to the Panthers' defensive efforts, taking away the unders, really putting pressure on the unders. And the only thing that they've really got is these get-out-of-jail cards to go for the deep shots, Benji. And they're going to need to find a way to generate some more efficiency in their unders game so they don't simply rely on sticking it to score.
Podgini and Paris just having a little bit of discussion there. Obviously not happy with the inconsistency their D-line showed offensively at that point. Generated more than enough turns to punch it in. Dobranovsky, Philip that is, catches the pull. Centering pass to Jendras. Jendras sneaking that one through back to Dobranovsky. Very purposeful faking, good communication. Nijala into the center and foul called by Kosmowski. Jakob Kerner, I think, was the defender. Two of them just talking it out, having the discussion.
Reiteration. This is what it looked like to me. This is what it felt like to me. There's another look at it for you all. As you get a good look at the uniforms as well. Panthers with some sponsorship on their chests. KFC, the Colonel's own. And we'll get to the details on their other sponsor after the action.
Jendras dumps off to Luke Stopanovsky. Phillips going to take off deep. Usually we see him throwing it, but he's more than capable of receiving it as well normally. That one just, it looked like he went for it up with one hand, and the height of the disc just altered at the last moment, and it wasn't quite in the right place for him.
He was using the other hand to feel his defender rather than to go up with two.
Volleyball. Estes just going wide. Kerner's looking central. The Panthers defenders sitting slightly underneath. I think they like their athleticism on any deep shot. That is a delicious break though into the long, lean figure of Leo Bade. Can they free themselves up as a reset? They do find Estes. Estes again utilizing that inside channel very productively. Now dishing it off towards the far side. Franken in the red zone looking for their first break. Up line, And Kosmowski tries to poach off, but just can't get there in time. Ika Estes with the score. First break of the game for FrankN. There's life in this game yet.
Indeed, that was in the first half tough to ever attach desperation to anything, Benj, but that going the other way, if that's a hold and it goes 7-3, that gap gets ugly for a first half gap, more than a double up, you know, and that score the other way, as we know, this game, the gap from one team scoring versus the other is dramatically different, and that 4-point gap to a 2-point gap makes this a very different game. So Frank needed that. They got it. They put it in. They put their D-line on the field again and see if they can start rolling now. Their offensive efficiency has not been impeccable, but they're finding ways. And if they can get the D-line rolling, well, that offensive efficiency doesn't even matter anymore. So FrankN, they got a picture of Frankenstein in their jerseys. Like, does that mean like Stein would be following?
I mean, technically they've got a picture of Frankenstein's monster on the jerseys, not Frankenstein.
Oh yeah, right. The creation, not the doctor. So, but does that mean that we're supposed to insinuate that Stein would be following? Is that what these guys go out and grab beers after the game? Probably not.
I mean, it's probably rather that than Frankenfurter, right?
Germans
I don't know if you're a Rocky Horror fan.
Germans don't like beer, though, do they? I am a Rocky Horror fan. Love the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Seymour, feed me.
That's Little Shop of Horrors.
Oh, yeah. Come on, maybe I'm not a fan. I'm lying.
Dobronovsky. Oh, good, the scuba over the top. Just maybe got a little bit greedy, trying to lead Kosmowski too far in front, and the defender gobbles it up. High rising throw that Kerner catches. Vorleber. Oh, little ball maybe, but Fowler catches it regardless. Vorleber again. Happy to work it around the backfield until they can find that killer pass. Break towards the sideline. Oh, a little shake and bake in the backfield, right on the doorstep of the end zone. The continuation on point. That's 3 on the spin now for FrankN from 6-2. They've made it 6-5.
Look out, bench. That is a run now. They are on. They've got the break. They got the hold, they got the break, and this second break is the run we talk about. They have stolen momentum with that. 6-5, we see in the chat some of our French photographers from Focus wondering about the comeback. You may just be onto something there, Quentin. But they are starting to look good. Now, back to my confusion between the Rocky Horror Picture Show and the Little Shop of Horrors. They share nothing but the word horror in common. And going back to the, not Little Shop of Horrors, Rocky Horror, that is Meatloaf that I'm remembering, and it's the musical. And what was your Frank reference from that again? Can you go back to that for us, Ben?
I think it's the Tim Curry character, Dr. FrankN.
Ah, that's right. Dr. FrankN.
It's been a long old while since I've seen Rocky Horror.
Yeah. I remember my aunt telling me she used to go to the live shows.
Oh yeah, everyone dresses up.
And people chuck lettuce at the stage and all sorts of crowd interaction.
It's quite a spectacle. Very much a cult classic. FrankN trying to keep the Polish offense guessing, coming down with a little bit of zone. We saw the Poles work through this pretty well earlier in the game. Trying to utilize those throw and goes. Quick pops, keep that defense moving. Don't let it a chance to get set. And a cheeky little penknife almost over the top of the cup there. Łukasz Dobronovsky throws and goes. And again, just trying to scythe it through the defense. The layout block gets a paw on it. FrankN can level us here.
FrankN really got the momentum right now. They put the zone back on, and this time they made it work, slowed things down, and Panthers just threw right into their defense.
Leading pass down the sideline for Buchner. And again, that break space is so fruitful and bountiful for FrankN. And they make it work once more, 6-all. One more break and we're back on serve.
For the bounce, that scoring throw that we'll likely get another look at. My favorite part of that counterattack, Benji, no hesitation. After moving it up 3/4 of the field, he gets it with the mark in front and no regard of the mark. There it is, just throws to the open receiver in the same instant. He turns upfield. And Frank giving us some potential for a Galaxy point.
Yeah, you can see that Varnica was pretty excited about that one, catching for the break score there. In the red zone, where those windows are so much tighter, if you can find a way to get that break side flow going, get those throws out early, it can be devastating.
So we're here in Vienna, just on the outskirts of the Big Easy, the big city of Austria. And my whole life, Benji, people have, I've heard of Wiener Schnitzels, but I had no idea that it was actually the Wieners were people from Vienna, were the Viennese.
Yeah.
I thought it was like a sausage, a Wiener sausage. And now I'm finding out that a Wiener are the inhabitants of Vienna. We are surrounded by Wieners.
Lesson in culture there from Stef Pazzo. Podgaini. Oh, complete miscommunication.
That's the easiest D he will ever get in his life.
Yeah, it'd be hard pressed to find one easier than that. Cheeky leading backhand for Voleba. High one towards the back of the end zone, and just didn't quite get the edge on that one, always trailing too far away from Jakob Schäfer.
But it's Panthers now that just need to right the ship here. They have, given up 4 in a row to start with, and now they're throwing into defense like that. They are rattled, and they need something to put them back on track right now.
It's kind of a microcosm of what we saw at Spring Invite in Padova, where they started brilliantly and then just seemed to run out of steam and couldn't right the ship.
Well, let's hope that's not the case this early in the tournament for them, if we're seeing it microcosmically within this game.
On the far sideline, Panthers with the high release break down the sideline. The timing just wasn't there on the continuation, because you know that he was looking for the deep shot there for Schaldana.
Wow, it was good looking power position. Caught that up line, and there is a second D for the number 22 shirt for Franken.
Yeah, just another overthrow, and he steals through. And I think he did try and catch this. In the end, it only tapped it out the pitch, but it gives them a chance to set their offense up in the red zone. Buchner. Here's the big man, Bade. Swinging, Franken get it off the line, but there's going to be a pick downfield that's going to cause a temporary halt to proceedings.
Well, 3 throws later, they finally move it within 1 meter of the sideline, Benj. I thought they were just going to force it up that sideline, but now they're using some width.
Loses his footing slightly, but recovers. Not maybe quite as aggressive with the positioning of the reset. As dangerous pass through the middle, but it just falls in FrankN hands again. High stall now, finding the underneath. The defender commits. Can they rescue it in the back of the end zone? Not quite.
And opportunity squandered there on that doorstep. That was a wide open receiver. That throw too high. You see the receiver got turned around and tripped over the back of his heels. But I don't put that one on the receiver, Benji. That throw should have been a strike.
Yeah, I just saw the opportunity there with the force on the floor and just rushed the execution of it. So Panthers again, this time they're going to the deep game once more. Well reeled in by Krysiak. Krysiak continuing deep for Paris. Paris to the back of the end zone. I wouldn't be surprised to see the foul call here.
Yeah, you're going to see the foul there. The hoofs got clacked up there, Benji. Both men go down. That's going to give possession to Panthers on the goal line.
Just check back in now. Paris. Continuation is going to be snuck through to Podgaini, and Panthers finally stop the bleeding after 4 in a row for the Germans, and the Poles lead 7-6.
And it's funny, we were talking about desperation in this same first half, and I said it was maybe a bit too early to bring it up when talking about Franken and punching one in when they did to get their run going. And I'm bringing it up again because that was a desperately needed goal for Panthers. You know, there's still a break ahead right now, but because of the nature of the runs in this game, had one more gone to Frank, these heads would just be dropping. Of course, everything's recoverable, especially when we're talking about a first half of a game that is a margin of less than 3. There's no... It isn't legitimate desperation, but you get that feeling when these big runs go against you, especially when you come out with all the momentum, all the strength, you know, open the lead, and you watch it disappear. You got to take it back, and they haven't been behind, and that's very important to stay in front here and maintain that lead. They're gonna get the disc back in the second half. This is not Tom's tourney. We do have half-times here at Vienna Spring Break.
Yeah, the rules, by the way, for those of you not familiar with our timings for this weekend, the time cap goes at 70 minutes, cap +1, and it's 80 minutes on Sunday. He's got too much space to uncork the deep shot. Shirk going again, and oh, it's just dropped there by Wolf.
Did everything he could to box out, used the body well, and the hand let him down.
So, chance for Panthers to break for half. But looking pretty turgid to start this possession. Not really getting anything going downfield, so working it through the handler set. Oshetsky underneath to Podgaini. Very demonstrative there. Sosna letting his teammates know exactly where he wants them. There's the leading deep shot. I think this is undercooked. Venkelman will greedily intercept it, but the first throw turns it back.
A couple sloppy turns there. Prior to that, Sosna showed us a very nice high-release forehand to generate a break earlier in that first possession, and he's got it in his hand again.
Nice break side flow, leading this one out there, but he might be getting too greedy. No, the poach off the back doesn't get there in time. Oshetsky brings it down on the end zone line. His hat's come off, but it doesn't matter. He's not going to break his focus. Finds the bucket-hatted Maciej Paris. And it's 8-6 and half-time for Panthers.
Halftime break, we had a chance at Galaxy Point there. He didn't really want it. So it's going to go 8-6, and Panthers will get the disc back. And just like that, momentum back in their favor, Benji.
It's such a swingy game. The pendulum can go back and forth, over and over. And at the moment, it is tilting very firmly in Panthers' favor. We're going to take a short little breather here in the booth and hydrate ourselves up. Recommend you do the same as home. at home, but make sure you keep it locked on ULTI.TV because the second half continues on the other side.
We are a group of ultimate players, coaches and video enthusiasts. We've worked with the major federations and the greatest events.
We're on a mission to make Ultimate huge. We want our videos and live streams to be free to watch,
We want to make stories that not only reach you,
but also reach people outside the Ultimate community.
Like and subscribe. ULTI.TV, the best in the world.
Become a member and
fund
fund
our
our
work
work.
to cover more events in the future and to bring more stories and live coverage to the eyes of the ultimate world and beyond.
Welcome back to ULTI.TV's coverage of Vienna Spring Break 2023. Second half getting underway here from the Brickmark with Panthers of Wrocław, Poland, up 8-6 on FrankN of Frankfurt, Germany. Dobranowski's got Kosmowski streaking beyond the defense, but just the timing obviously must not have been quite right there. Much to Kosmowski's frustration, I'm sure. Faking down the line, instead just sneaking one through. Travel called, I think was looking for the throw and go and maybe got too much go and not enough throw. Or a foul potentially, maybe, pushing off. Włodarczyk was the intended target. Gets low, gets the break off the line. Jędras. Out into space for Krawczyk. High snatch on the far sideline for Włodarczyk. Just outside the end zone is Łukasz Dobranowski. Jędras clears downfield, high stall, ripping the hammer across the pitch from one Dobranowski to the other. Łukasz finds Philip to make it 9-6.
Dobranowski happiness. Does that go with double happiness? Not quite. But that high stall cannon hammer, as you said, a laser, but almost double helix too. Almost get the double turn there, Benj. And now they're right back in the driver's seat, are the Panthers, where they wanted to be, where they started the game. And while we're in between points here, a little shout out to our wonderful patrons. We are on the road to 700. That is our goal. That's what we need to get an extra field for Windmill so we can bring more Windmill action to you, our spectacular viewers. And some of these names I know, so it makes it even happier for me. Luna, Andred, Arango, Jonas Schwind. My lunch date from yesterday, Inian Morthy, the ex-GOAT player and captain or coach of box, took me out for some wonderful Austrian delights.
You were regaling me with stories in the on the drive home yesterday.
It was fantastic. And to finish it off, Cornelius Haller and Cohen Verpurten. You guys are all amazing. I'm sure you're getting better looking by the second right now. Thank you for that wonderful contribution to what we're doing.
Slicing through the front line of the Panthers defense. Going back with the three up front, and almost the diamond downfield. Brockmeyer, Venkelman, swinging across, trying to find it, just about sticks it almost onto Michelschlager. Michelschlager just taking his time there. No, they're not really in a position to make any mistakes here. Feels like the temperature's dropped a couple of degrees since we started as well, which is most unwelcome.
We're Two ways about that. As unwelcome as that non-clasping hand for FrankN, it is coming a chill in the air, and maybe that's what made the hand of the number 7 shirt, Jonas Venkelman, fail.
Plenty of space on that underneath cut from Oshetsky. Can't find any continuation, so goes into the backfield for Schaldona. See, they're just a little gesture from Sosna where he wants the reset. Casual one-handed snag there from Oshetsky. You can see he's got those pads on his knees. Didn't think the ground would be that hard, but sure he knows better than I. Sosna is winding up. He's releasing for the back of the end zone, and even the crazy athletic Oshetsky can't get there.
And he gets a very good look at the condition of the surface here. With his knee pads on, he must have some inclination to go down Bruce Springsteen style with the knee slide, but this time goes chest first. And this pitch, though, Benji, wow. We are on an exceptional piece of lawn. Soft, well-covered, green and soft. And
Do I detect hint of jealousy there, Steph?
That I want to be out there playing?
Well, no, that you want a lawn like this.
I would take a lawn, period. I'm apartment living right now, so sure. I would even take a turf lawn for my balcony.
Quick turnover from Franken, gives the disc back to Panthers in the red zone. Ever so casual with the reset to Sosna. Krajcik. Playing some just 1-2s there with Oshetsky and Krajcik. And Oshetsky eventually gets someone else involved. It's Podgaini. Panthers looking kind of unflustered, I think, rather than just try and bang their way in. They're happy to just get it in there in a natural motion. Podgaini, central. Fakes once, and I think there's going to be a pick downfield potentially. To see that the yellow sleeve Krasnitsky is ready and available as a reset, should it be required. There's the slashing cut towards this sideline. A little bit of separation for Krajcik, and it's all he needs to make it 10-6.
And that separation widening again. This is really a game of runs. It is momentous, and they're getting big heads of steam and just rolling downhill until they can be derailed. And that's what FrankN needs to find a way to do again. They've done it. It's possible. The derailment is possible here. The ability to get on a run of their own is possible.
Just heard a little jingle in the background saying that we've got 10 minutes left of this game until the cap comes on. So you doubt it's probably going to reach 15 at this point, but you never know.
Never know.
Just trying to get a little bit of warmth into the body. You can see some spectators enjoying life up on the balcony over there by the canteen.
What a great setting here.
Isn't it just?
And so talking about Panthers again, they've got KFC, they've got the big super club, their multi-sport club in Wrocław, and they've also got Trachnivsky, if I'm saying that right.
Tarczynski.
Huh?
Tarczynski.
Tarczynski, which is a more local sponsor, a meat manufacturer, sausage maker.
Meaty snacks.
Meaty snacks, meat
My
treats.
kind of snacks, to be honest. I live a mostly vegetarian lifestyle now. It's weird, I'm not sure I like it.
So many of our viewers will be in Wrocław at the end of this year for EUCF. And why not give Tarczynski a try? Get some of the meat treats into you. Support those that support Ultimate.
Must admit, I always enjoy going to Wrocław, and yeah, EUCF, especially if you can get back in the Olympic Stadium, it's going to be quite a spectacle.
Speaking of supporting those that support Ultimate, we are always on the lookout for more sponsors and corporations, businesses, enterprises getting behind our sport. If you are involved in marketing departments or know anyone that is, that would be ripe and in a situation to mutually benefit, please lead them to us. Send them to Stefan at ULTI.TV and we can make things happen.
Look at you with your fancy ULTI.TV email address. I remember when you were a man of the people.
And now I just step on the people. It's not true.
Happens
I love
to
them
all of us. Volleyball scoobering over the top there. Again, Panthers coming with a zone to slow down the Franken offense. This has been a good switch, actually, I think, from the Poles, because it's just taken a little bit of the air out of that offense. They were kind of fit and firing a little bit more, and they've been forced to be more patient, a bit more circumspect with their shots, and it has generated turns. And punched in, cool as you like. First point of the second half, in fact, there for Franken, 10-7.
I like the way that they worked that in, slow and steady, through the hands, didn't force anything. They had an open, deep receiver for the better part of that whole point. There was a man with anywhere between 5 and 15 meters of separation behind the deep in the zone. And I think they learned their lesson a bit. The start of this game, they were shooting deep a little bit more free-flowingly, gun-slinging, and
they're just a bit more judicious now.
They're putting it away. Judicious indeed. Benji coming out with the good stuff.
It's like I've never left. Yeah, it's interesting because obviously you're always tempted to hit that, but I guess you're thinking, look, we're happy to leave you deep, and if you get really free, then we will hit you. But otherwise, if you could just drag someone out there, create a little bit of space. I was always told if you're playing against a zone, you want to be marked by 2 people or no people, because if you're marked by 2 people, then someone else is free, and if you're marked by no people, well, then you're free.
And even if you're not dragging them with you and they're just on a constant system of shoulder checking and this uncertainty, having to look behind, do I step in, do I drop back, and they end up in this neutral zone, and that's what we saw there, and it worked for Frank that time.
So maybe with the temperature dropping a little bit more nip in the air, makes sense that Franken also coming down with some zone defensively. Not that Panthers seem flustered or flummoxed by it at all. Filip Dobronovsky, the lefty, just giving and going with Kosmowski. Getting those crashes through the cup very effectively. And Dobronovsky's just able to manipulate the mark around there. Łukasz Dobronovsky. Back to his brother Filip. There's the around, looking to hit Kosmowski, finding Kosmowski, faking the inside, just going to go more central instead. By the way, the transition there into a match defense from Franken, expertly executed because it's so easy to leave players free, but they were able to make that switch pretty seamlessly. Dobronovsky just on the end zone line. Will he try and force his way in? It's a little leading pass and it's going to float, but it is not a problem for the Poles. Punching it in with Timon Włodarczyk to make it 11-7.
Poles look good in the red zone there. Łukasz Dobronovsky with a fall down break throw earlier in the sequence. I thought he broke the door open there, wasn't quite in. They get it about 3 or 4 throws later. Here is the scoring throw once again. But patient, that one, not perfect, floated a bit much, but in a space where it was only ever going to be in the hands of a black shirt.
Was a big fan of watching that zone offense go to work there for Panthers. I thought it was very effective. So Franken bringing a bigger roster to this tournament, 21 of them, so 3 lines worth this weekend. So that's 6 more players than the Poles. Kind of think maybe at the end of the weekend that might add up a little bit more, but at the start of the weekend, obviously both sides going to be feeling pretty fresh out there.
And I mean, geez, this is why this win is probably a bit more important for the Panthers than Frank right now. At the start of this tournament, the low roster team needs to get these wins if they want to be in it at the other end. And Benji, do you have a favorite flavor of Slurpee?
Because it's 7-Eleven?
It is 7-Eleven, Benji.
I'm not really a Slurpee guy. Blue raspberry?
Yeah, raspberry's good. I'm still a grape fan, but
I don't know why they made raspberry blue, but that's by the by.
Americanism, sell the color.
Raspberry got done dirty by Big Straw. That's my hot take there. More zone from Panthers. Franken putting a lot of bodies in the backfield to provide those constant swings, but it just tips out of the grasp there of Pascal Richter. The tall figure of Marcin Sosna. Just gonna wipe his hands, make sure there's no excess moisture on them. Match defense in the red zone for Franken. Chardonnay. Krishak looking around. Chardonnay pulls through. Ooh, that one's going to go away, and spectacular layout there from Sosna. I think they did very well just not to collide with each other as well. Podgaini, can he find the angle through? Really opens up the field with that inward pivot and rakes it across to Haladus. And Haladus, easy little flip to the front of the end zone.
Saw some hesitation at a Haladus one sequence earlier. I thought there was 2 receivers in the middle that he could have hit. Maybe that's why he didn't hit them, because it was one and the other rather than one or the other. But his patience did him well there. Held off. They cleared, and a cyclical cut came. There's that layout. Sosna saving the day. And there's that's the first look. I thought those were there.
And he just waits for a little bit of that traffic to clear out and sees that window through. The advantage of moving just towards the near side is you've got that channel right through the center of the field where the defender's on the far side, and you've got that simple flip into the middle. And on his knees, Krasicki catches and crawls away. 12-7 as time is over, so we will finish the point, add 1, and that'll be our cap.
So since 6-6, Benji, it's been a 6-1 game for the Panthers.
It's strange because the Panthers, you know, the first 8 points they won 6-2, and then Franken got 4 in a row, and then Panthers have won the next 7 6-1. It's been the Panthers, when they've got it clicking, have been very good, but they just haven't been able to put it together for that consistency all game long. Nice hanging pull there, eventually lands in the hands of Nico Mikeschlager. Swinging around the back again, happy to commit bodies into the backfield. Shuttling across is Venkelman. Shirk. Back to Mikeschlager. This is patient stuff from Franken. Panthers still staying with their system. Wonder if they'll transition. If they do, when that'll be. But so far, what's the old adage? You can't go broke making a profit. Doesn't matter if they're just not aggressively moving the disc. They are just keeping it moving, keeping those stall counts ticking over, manipulating the front line of that defense, moving them around, tiring them out. Can they keep focus that has at times deserted them in this game?
Can't go broke making a profit. That is wise words from Benji Reese.
Here is the transition to the one-on-one defense. We saw FrankN do that expertly at the other end of the pitch. This time it's Panthers' turn to make that transition.
And also done seamlessly there. I mean, just the last little bit of catch-up on the last pairing of defenders' assignments. But that was a very seamless transition.
And it worked, because that blade down the sideline is undercooked. Probably wanted it medium, and it came out, well, pretty much still alive, to be honest.
Blue.
Absolutely, very, very blue. Here's Podgaini opening up the arm and slapped away at the second attempt there by Yannis Gauga. He's been very much in the thick of things for FrankN this game.
Yeah, having a fantastic game. He's got himself a tough assignment with the very athletic Oshetsky. Stayed in front. I thought the bigger body might have had a play at that, but not when the defense stays that committed to their positioning.
And back into the defensive setup there. A little bit of space through. Venkelman catches with one hand. Back to this more patient offense from the Germans. Brockmeyer didn't see the option through. Oh, nearly the miscommunication with Miketschlager, but they just about find that little crease. There's the over the top here, or the around if they want it. Again, I think they could be maybe a bit more aggressive with taking that, cut out the middleman occasionally. But they've got a system here, the Germans, and they're sticking to it.
They are sticking to it, as are the Panthers sticking to their zone as the disc gets into the attacking half.
That's a bit better, a bit more movement with the throw and go. Getting those defenders on the back foot. Little slip there. Can they find a way to capitalize? The swing goes to Miketschlager. And now we're just back to swinging in the backfield. There's the space in behind, but a couple of defenders converge. Didn't get an angle on whether he was in or out. Obviously the players on the field will have their perspective on it.
Which matters most, but that looks...
Ooh, it's close. We didn't get the sideline shot because we got comprehensively finnied.
And I think they got that right by my estimation, Benji. It looked like he got those pink shoes down before the chalk.
So some fast feet there. Brings it back to 12-8 for FrankN. The game is probably out of reach, but we've seen them put runs together already this game, and until that last point goes in, it's still game on.
So game to 13, as we said, the time has gone. It is a cap +1, and with that point going to Frank, the team playing from behind. It doesn't change the perspective cap from what we were looking at the point before, and it is a game to 13.
It is indeed. I can see that the teams for our next game here on stream have
next,
arrived.
Bench?
We have women's division action between East Bloc of the Czech Republic and Swarm from Zurich in Switzerland.
And we've seen action from East Bloc already this year. They were the runners-up at Padova. They looked very strong. They pushed Shout in the pool play, and then again showed up in the final. I'll say they maybe got beat a bit more by Shout in the big show, but showed up, came to play for sure.
Kosmowski towards the sideline, doesn't see the continuation he wants. Kravchik comes all the way into the backfield. Jendras finds the laying out for Włodarczyk. Włodarczyk opens it up and Kosmowski is on the end zone line. One pass could do it here, but it's not going to be that one. Dump back to Łukasz Dobranowski, and just the tiniest little bit of space and some toe drag swag maybe at the front of the end zone there from Mateusz Kosmowski gives us game 13-8.
13-8, they're taking the line, but after the time horn went, it should be cap +1. We were under the impression that that is game over.
So, yes, so was I. But both sides seem happy to trot back out there. I thought that should be game.
Why is this not game over? Okay, tell them. Guys, it's game over.
They're just gonna be a discussion. And I think the message has finally got its way across to the players on field. So we're going to wrap this up quickly so we can get the next live stream suited and booted. East Block versus Swarm. ULTI.TV's coverage of Vienna Spring Break continues on the other side.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Merci
beaucoup.
Yeah, Ultimate.
ULTI.TV.